Vayiqra, and he called. Leviticus chapter 1. And Yahuah called unto Moshe, and spoke unto him out of the tabernacle of the assembly, saying, Speak unto the children of Yasharel, and say unto them, If any man of you bring an offering unto Yahuah, ye shall bring your offering of the cattle, even of the herd, and of the flock. If his offering be an ascending smoke sacrifice of the herd, let him offer a male without blemish. He shall offer it of his own voluntary will at the door of the tabernacle of the assembly before Yahuah. And he shall put his hand upon the head of the ascending smoke offering, and it shall be accepted for him to make atonement for him. And he shall kill the bullock before Yahuah, and the priests, Aharon's sons, shall bring the blood, and sprinkle the blood round about upon the altar that is by the door of the tabernacle of the assembly. And he shall flay the ascending smoke offering, and cut it into his pieces. And the sons of Aharon the priest shall put fire upon the altar, and lay the wood in order upon the fire. And the priests, Aharon's sons, shall lay the parts, the head, and the fat, in order upon the wood that is on the fire which is upon the altar. But his inwards and his legs shall he wash in water, and the priest shall burn all on the altar, to be an ascending smoke sacrifice, an offering made by fire, of a sweet savor unto Yahuah. And if his offering be of the flocks, namely of the sheep, or of the goats, for an ascending smoke sacrifice, he shall bring it a male without blemish, and he shall kill it on the side of the altar northward before Yahuah. And the priests, Aharon's sons, shall sprinkle his blood round about upon the altar. And he shall cut it into his pieces, with his head and his fat, and the priest shall lay them in order on the wood that is on the fire which is upon the altar. But he shall wash the inwards and the legs with water, and the priest shall bring it all, and burn it upon the altar. It is an ascending smoke sacrifice, an offering made by fire, of a sweet savor unto Yahuah. And if the ascending smoke sacrifice for his offering to Yahuah be of fowls, then he shall bring his offering of turtle doves, or of young pigeons. And the priest shall bring it unto the altar, and wring off his head, and burn it on the altar, and the blood thereof shall be wrung out at the side of the altar. And he shall pluck away his crop with his feathers, and cast it beside the altar on the east part, by the place of the ashes. And he shall cleave it with the wings thereof, but shall not divide it asunder. And the priest shall burn it upon the altar, upon the wood that is upon the fire. It is an ascending smoke sacrifice, an offering made by fire, of a sweet savor unto Yahuah. Chapter 2. And when any will offer an oblation unto Yahuah, his offering shall be of fine flour, and he shall pour oil upon it, and put frankincense thereon. And he shall bring it to Aharon's sons the priests, and he shall take thereout his handful of the flour thereof, and of the oil thereof, with all the frankincense thereof. And the priest shall burn the memorial of it upon the altar, to be an offering made by fire, of a sweet savor unto Yahuah. And the remnant of the oblation shall be Aharon's and his sons. It is a thing most holy of the offerings of Yahuah, made by fire. And if you bring an offering of an oblation, baken in the oven, it shall be matzah cakes of fine flour, mingled with oil, or matzah wafers anointed with oil. And if your offering be an oblation, baken in a pan, it shall be of fine flour, unleavened, mingled with oil. You shall part it in pieces, and pour oil thereon. It is an oblation. And if your offering be an oblation baken in the frying pan, it shall be made of fine flour with oil. And you shall bring the oblation that is made of these things unto Yahuah, And when it is presented unto the priest, he shall bring it unto the altar. And the priest shall take from the oblation a memorial thereof, and shall burn it upon the altar. It is an offering made by fire, of a sweet savor unto Yahuah. And that which is left of the oblation shall be Aharon's and his sons. It is a thing most holy of the offerings of Yahuah made by fire. No oblation which ye shall bring unto Yahuah shall be made with leaven, for ye shall burn no leaven, nor any honey, in any offering of Yahuah made by fire. As for the oblation of the first fruits, ye shall offer them unto Yahuah, but they shall not be burnt on the altar for a sweet savor. And every offering of your oblation shall you season with salt, neither shall you suffer the salt of the covenant of your Elohim to be lacking from your oblation. With all your offerings you shall offer salt. And if you offer an oblation of your first fruits unto Yahuah, you shall offer for the oblation of your first fruits green ears of grain dried by the fire, et even grain beaten out of full ears. And you shall put oil upon it, and lay frankincense thereon. It is an oblation. And the priest shall burn the memorial of it, part of the beaten grain thereof, and part of the oil thereof, with all the frankincense thereof. It is an offering made by fire unto Yahuah. Chapter 3. And if his oblation be a sacrifice of peace offering, if he offer it of the herd, whether it be a male or female, he shall offer it without blemish before Yahuah. And he shall lay his hand upon the head of his offering, and kill it at the door of the tabernacle of the assembly. And Aharon's sons, the priest, shall sprinkle the blood upon the altar round about. And he shall offer of the sacrifice of the peace offering, an offering made by fire unto Yahuah, the fat that covers the inwards, and all the fat that is upon the inwards, and the two kidneys, and the fat that is on them, which is by the flanks, and the caul above the liver, with the kidneys, it shall he take away. And Aharon's sons shall burn it on the altar upon the ascending smoke sacrifice, which is upon the wood that is on the fire. It is an offering made by fire, of a sweet savor unto Yahuah. And if his offering for a sacrifice of peace offering unto Yahuah be of the flock, male or female, he shall offer it without blemish. If he offer a lamb for his offering, then shall he offer before Yahuah. And he shall lay his hand upon the head of his offering, and kill it before the tabernacle of the assembly. And Aharon's sons shall sprinkle the blood thereof round about upon the altar. And he shall offer of the sacrifice of the peace offering, an offering made by fire unto Yahuah, the fat thereof, and the whole rump. It shall he take off hard by the backbone, and the fat that covers et the inwards, and all the fat that is upon the inwards, and the two kidneys, and the fat that is upon them, which is by the flanks, and the caul above the liver, with the kidneys, it shall he take away. And the priest shall burn it upon the altar. It is the food of the offering made by fire unto Yahuah. And if his offering be a goat, then he shall offer it before Yahuah. And he shall lay his hand upon the head of it, and kill it before the tabernacle of the assembly. And the sons of Aharon shall sprinkle the blood thereof upon the altar round about. And he shall offer thereof his offering, even an offering made by fire unto Yahuah, the fat that covers the inwards, and all the fat that is upon the inwards, and the two kidneys, and the fat that is upon them, which is by the flanks, and the caul above the liver, with the kidneys, it shall he take away. And the priest shall burn them upon the altar. It is the food of the offering made by fire, for a sweet savor. All the fat is Yahuah's. It shall be a perpetual statute for your generations throughout all your dwellings, that ye eat neither fat nor blood. Chapter 4. And Yahuah spoke unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto the children of Yasharel, saying, If a soul shall sin through ignorance against any of the commandments of Yahuah concerning things which ought not to be done, and shall do against any of them, if the priest that is anointed do sin according to the sin of the people, then let him bring for his sin, which he has sinned, a young bullock without blemish, unto Yahuah for a sin offering. And he shall bring the bullock unto the door of the tabernacle of the assembly before Yahuah, and shall lay his hand upon the bullock's head, and kill the bullock before Yahuah. And the priest that is anointed shall take of the bullock's blood, and bring it to the tabernacle of the assembly. And the priest shall dip his finger in the blood, and sprinkle of the blood 7 times before Yahuah, before the veil of the sanctuary. And the priest shall put some of the blood upon the horns of the altar of sweet incense before Yahuah, which is in the tabernacle of the assembly, and shall pour all the blood of the bullock at the bottom of the altar of the ascending smoke offering, which is at the door of the tabernacle of the assembly. And he shall take off from it all the fat of the bullock for the sin offering, the fat that covers the inwards, and all the fat that is upon the inwards, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is upon them, which is by the flanks, and the caul above the liver, with the kidneys, it shall he take away, as it was taken off from the bullock of the sacrifice of peace offerings, and the priest shall burn them upon the altar of the ascending smoke offering. And the skin of the bullock, and all his flesh, with his head, and with his legs, and his inwards, and his dung, even the whole bullock shall he carry forth without the camp unto a clean place, where the ashes are poured out, and burn him on the wood with fire. Where the ashes are poured out shall he be burnt. And if the whole assembly of Yasharel sin through ignorance, and the thing be hid from the eyes of the assembly, and they have done somewhat against any of the commandments of Yahuah concerning things which should not be done, and are guilty, when the sin which they have sinned against it is known, then the assembly shall offer a young bullock for the sin, and bring him before the tabernacle of the assembly. And the elders of the assembly shall lay their hands upon the head of the bullock before Yahuah, and the bullock shall be killed before Yahuah. And the priest that is anointed shall bring of the bullock's blood to the tabernacle of the assembly, and the priest shall dip his finger in some of the blood, and sprinkle it 7 times before Yahuah, even before the veil. And he shall put some of the blood upon the horns of the altar, which is before Yahuah, that is in the tabernacle of the assembly, and shall pour out all the blood at the bottom of the altar of the ascending smoke offering, which is at the door of the tabernacle of the assembly. And he shall take all his fat from him, and burn it upon the altar. And he shall do with the bullock as he did with the bullock for a sin offering. So shall he do with this, and the priest shall make an atonement for them, and it shall be forgiven them. And he shall carry forth the bullock without the camp, and burn him as he burned the first bullock. It is a sin offering for the assembly. When a ruler has sinned, and done somewhat through ignorance against any of the commandments of Yahuah Elohehu concerning things which should not be done, and is guilty, or if his sin, wherein he has sinned, come to his knowledge, he shall bring his offering, a kid of the goats, a male without blemish. And he shall lay his hand upon the head of the goat, and kill it in the place where they kill the ascending smoke offering before Yahuah. It is a sin offering. And the priest shall take of the blood of the sin offering with his finger, and put it upon the horns of the altar of the ascending smoke offering, and shall pour out his blood at the bottom of the altar of the ascending smoke offering. And he shall burn all his fat upon the altar, as the fat of the sacrifice of peace offerings. And the priest shall make an atonement for him as concerning his sin, and it shall be forgiven him. And if any one of the common people sin through ignorance, while he does somewhat against any of the commandments of Yahuah concerning things which ought not to be done, and be guilty, or if his sin, which he has sinned, come to his knowledge, then he shall bring his offering, a kid of the goats, a female without blemish, for his sin which he has sinned. And he shall lay his hand upon the head of the sin offering, and slay the sin offering in the place of the ascending smoke offering. And the priest shall take of the blood thereof with his finger, and put it upon the horns of the altar of the ascending smoke offering, and shall pour out all the blood thereof at the bottom of the altar. And he shall take away all the fat thereof, as the fat is taken away from off the sacrifice of peace offerings. And the priest shall burn it upon the altar for a sweet savor unto Yahuah. And the priest shall make an atonement for him, and it shall be forgiven him. And if he bring a lamb for a sin offering, he shall bring it a female without blemish. And he shall lay his hand upon the head of the sin offering, and slay it for a sin offering in the place where they kill the ascending smoke offering. And the priest shall take of the blood of the sin offering with his finger, and put it upon the horns of the altar of the ascending smoke offering, and shall pour out all the blood thereof at the bottom of the altar. And he shall take away all the fat thereof, as the fat of the lamb is taken away from the sacrifice of the peace offerings. And the priest shall burn them upon the altar, according to the offerings made by fire unto Yahuah. And the priest shall make an atonement for his sin that he has committed, and it shall be forgiven him. Chapter 5. And if a soul sins, and hears the voice of swearing, and is a witness, whether he has seen or known of it, if he does not utter it, then he shall bear his iniquity. Or if a soul touch any unclean thing, whether it be a carcass of an unclean beast, or a carcass of unclean cattle, or the carcass of unclean creeping things, and if it be hidden from him, he also shall be unclean and guilty. Or if he touch the uncleanness of man, whatsoever uncleanness it be, that a man shall be defiled withal, and it be hid from him, when he knows of it, then he shall be guilty. Or if a soul swears 7 oaths, pronouncing with his lips to do evil, or to do good, whatsoever it be that a man shall pronounce with an oath, and it be hid from him, when he knows of it, then he shall be guilty in one of these. And if it shall be, when he shall be guilty in one of these things, that he shall confess that he has sinned in that thing, and he shall bring his trespass offering unto Yahuah for his sin which he has sinned, a female from the flock, a lamb or a kid of the goats, for a sin offering, and the priest shall make an atonement for him concerning his sin. And if he be not able to bring a lamb, then he shall bring for his trespass which he has committed 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons unto Yahuah, one for a sin offering, and the other for an ascending smoke offering. And he shall bring them unto the priest, who shall offer that which is for the sin offering first, and wring off his head from his neck, but shall not divide it asunder. And he shall sprinkle of the blood of the sin offering upon the side of the altar, and the rest of the blood shall be wrung out at the bottom of the altar. It is a sin offering. And he shall offer the second for an ascending smoke offering, according to the manner. And the priest shall make an atonement for him for his sin which he has sinned, and it shall be forgiven him. But if he be not able to bring 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, then he that sinned shall bring his offering, the 10th part of an ephah of fine flour for a sin offering. He shall put no oil upon it, neither shall he put any frankincense thereon, for it is a sin offering. Then shall he bring it to the priest, and the priest shall take his handful of it, even a memorial thereof, and burn it on the altar, according to the offerings made by fire unto Yahuah. It is a sin offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for him as touching his sin, that he has sinned in one of these, and it shall be forgiven him. And the remnant shall be the priest's as an oblation. And Yahuah spoke unto Moshe, saying, If a soul commit a trespass, and sin through ignorance in the holy things of Yahuah, then he shall bring for his trespass unto Yahuah a ram without blemish out of the flocks, with your estimation by shekels of silver, after the shekel of the sanctuary, for a trespass offering. And he shall make amends for the harm that he has done in the holy thing, and shall add the 5th part thereto, and give it unto the priest. And the priest shall make an atonement for him with the ram of the trespass offering, and it shall be forgiven him. And if a soul sin and commit any of these things which are forbidden to be done by the commandments of Yahuah, though he knew it not, yet is he guilty, and shall bear his iniquity. And he shall bring a ram without blemish out of the flock, with your estimation, for a trespass offering unto the priest. And the priest shall make an atonement for him concerning his ignorance, wherein he erred and knew it not, and it shall be forgiven him. It is a trespass offering. He has certainly trespassed against Yahuah. Chapter 6. And Yahuah spoke unto Moshe, saying, If a soul sin and commit a transgression against Yahuah, and lie unto his neighbor in that which was delivered him to keep, or in fellowship, or in a thing taken away by violence, or has deceived his neighbor, or have found that which was lost, and lies concerning it, and swears 7 oaths falsely, in any of all these that a man does, sinning therein, then it shall be, because he has sinned and is guilty, that he shall restore that which he took violently away, or the thing which he has deceitfully gotten, or that which was delivered him to keep, or the lost thing which he found, or all that about which he has sworn 7 oaths falsely, he shall even restore it in the principal, and shall add the 5th part more thereto, and give it unto him to whom it appertains in the day of his trespass offering. And he shall bring his trespass offering unto Yahuah, a ram without blemish out of the flock, with your estimation, for a trespass offering unto the priest. And the priest shall make an atonement for him before Yahuah, and it shall be forgiven him for anything of all that he has done in trespassing therein.